is a perfect blend of realistic optimism. So we're going to welcome in Yashi. I'm going to read her bio for just a moment, and as she gets set up and gets situated, and I'm really excited about hearing what she has to say. So Yashi Brown is an author, writer, poet, public speaker, and leading voice in the mental health space since 2011. Yashi's poetry became her chosen creative expression upon experiencing severe bipolar depression and mania symptoms as a young adult. Fueled by her deep spirituality and a burning desire to empower herself and others, Yashi realized her recovery journey. Today, she is an award-winning mental health advocate, artist, and public speaker, thriving with bipolar type 1. Yashi's poetry, spoken word, and story of recovery has been featured on the Today Show, Fox News, CNN In Session, HuffPost, Rise, Sirius XM, CBS, ABC, all these other alphabets, a whole lot of other things, a whole lot of other places she's accomplished. Uh, so Yashi, she has published mental health pieces for Thrive Global, Huffington Post, NAMI National, NAMI Advocate, and our HHS department with the focus on recovery and its many faces with self-empowerment, eliminating self-imposed stigma and manifestation. So I could go on and on and on. I went on YouTube last night and I listened to some of her pieces, and I could sit and listen to her all day. So instead of hearing me read about her, we are going to hear from the woman, the myth, the legend herself. Yashi, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. You
Hey,
guys hear me
Yashi.
okay?
Yes, we can, and
Hi.
we can hear you. Good to see you.
Good to see you as
So I
well.
think the burning question is, are you a Star Wars fan or a Star Trek fan?
Star Wars,
Or
more so. But you want to know something? I'm not too terribly familiar. I
with
never
the
closely followed either one. So if I had to choose one, it would be more Star Wars. But because just the overall themes, however, X-Men, ask me
Oh,
about
there
that,
you
and I
go.
probably could like go on a tangent. So
Awesome. Well, good.
I'm
Well,
not
no,
totally ungeeked in that way, you know.
that's right. We had a discussion earlier with Jonafa and I and Pastor Jonafa, and
Oh yes, okay,
so we were just
makes
talking about
sense.
that. So we wanted to get your take on that. But now jumping into our fireside chat here, and
Yes,
tell me a little bit about some of the changes. People who when the pandemic hit,
yeah,
a lot of people had to pivot. A lot of people
yeah.
had to change, and sometimes they had to change their business altogether, change how they're doing business, how they're putting forth.
Uh-oh, I just lost sound. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So how did the change with the pandemic affect you, and how did you pivot?
You know, when the pandemic hit in March, I immediately overbought. But the good news is I didn't go into stores. I just was online
Yeah.
buying stuff online, and I was by myself. So my main thing, I was traveling at the time, still, in the month of March doing engagements.
Hmm.
And I was so concerned about, um, you know, I have a grandmother who's 90 and my mother is 70.
Oh, wow.
And so so I was really concerned about, and everybody's health. And I immediately quarantined myself. So I was actually going to quarantine back in February.
Wow.
And my main concern again was trying to maintain a healthy environment for myself and my loved ones, but especially my loved ones.
Hmm.
And being in that mindset really helped me make and formulate decisions that would benefit everyone. So again, I wasn't so resistant to what the news was telling me. I had a friend that had sent me information on the virus back in January, early
Wow.
January, when it was hitting Wuhan, and saying that our news wasn't covering it enough. and talking about it in more detail. So I kind of knew that this was a little bit coming, but it did sneak up immediately all at once. And when it did, I was aware of what was already happening. So I felt like the pivot was a little bit easier from the standpoint of I wasn't as shocked as the whole world was when we had to shut down. I kind of had a feeling we were going to have to shut down immediately. California was one of the earlier states to do so. And then, so I was really kind of prepared in that way, emotionally and mentally. And I think when you're already dealing with emotional challenges, if you've had to deal with that sort of challenge in your life, you're used to having to pivot and regulate, and you're used to having to work with your emotions when challenges come up. So it's kind of a muscle that's already been going, and you're able to deal with it a little bit easier. So I'll say that's what happened with COVID. Now, when the George Floyd situation happened a few months down the line, that was definitely triggering for me. And that's when I noticed more of a struggle. And that's another conversation, but definitely the difference in the two was quite interesting.
And so how did you approach, because your business is really promoting you, and engaging with people and talking about,
I'm losing sound again. I don't have sound. Hello?
Okay, I don't know why that keeps doing
There you
that.
go.
Okay, yeah. So with the fact that you had to engage with folks, how did that change the approach on how you were going to, support your livelihood? And how did how was your adoption of technology to spread the message and advocate? What was
I think I got most of your question. The sound is kind of going out again, but it's so funny. I'm one of those people that was very affected by this pandemic and how it affected my work. So I'm actually in that transition right now. I'm creating a course that is going to pretty much be able to transfer most of ideas that I was really coming into working with other people on at the beginning of the year when it comes to manifesting and visualization, and putting that into more of a course that incorporates your creativity. That's how I've had to, make the shift, because it's so funny. I was watching a program. The financier, his name is Ray Dalio. He was actually speaking on TED right after the pandemic hit, talking about how those who are going to be able to ride this wave, this interesting wave, whatever you want to call it, are those who can adapt and shift. Those who are staying rigid to old ways and rigid to the old way of doing things are going to have a tougher time, if not sink. As far as this pandemic is concerned. So from that point forward, and that was a little earlier on when I saw that, I was starting to think of what are the new and innovative ways for me to approach my work, my message, as well as to deliver it to the audience. So in the meantime, I took on different live stream Zoom events in the month of May. And in the month of early in the month of May, Mental Health Month, which is normally a busy speaking month for me, I took on those events so that I can have public appearance and so that I could be seen by others, and keep the message going. Because again, it's all about just continuing to stay positive and feel good in those times of isolation. It was so important for me to figure out ways to feel good, to do activities, to take inventory of the things that I wanted to do and wasn't able to do in the past. And then the financial aspect of it definitely was impactful.
Yeah.
But I had to remember I wasn't alone.
Right.
Others were going through what I was going through. And so
Right.
by compartmentalizing it in that particular way, I was able to again get outside of myself, which is so important that we get outside of ourselves, see what's going on around, how we are part of this macrocosm, how we're part of something, and then we're able to create waves. Our creativity, we start tapping into that and we adapt.
Excellent. 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 All right, Pastor Jonafa, you.
Yeah, okay, so great. So the one thing that I keep hearing over and over again is the word adaptation. And the other word is change. And the ability for us to be able to adapt consistently and to change consistently. So I think that that's the going theme when we're talking about mental health and mental wellness, in particularly in this season, and being able to make those necessary changes and adapt. And you said something, Yashi, that I think is so important, that those who are able to ride this wave are going to be the ones who are able to adapt. It's the difference between sinking and swimming. So that's really, really, really important. That's something that I've been able to take away, and it's something that I've had to experience. And even with my ministry, we have provided mental health sessions for our parishioners, for our members. We have mental health professionals that have come in and actually had Zoom fellowship instead of our Sunday morning messages. We're actually doing Zoom mental health sessions with people, and we actually have nutritionists coming in
Yep.
that are actually helping people to take this downtime, since we're not able to eat at restaurants anyway, to learn how to eat better and cook and change your diet so that we can actually see what we can do ourselves to kind of help fight off the infection and to stay well. So thank you for the chat that you guys are engaging in right now. It's really beneficial, and I think it's going to help a lot of people. So I think what we're doing next, if I'm not mistaken, is that we're going to have